Namaste students. Unit 1, Chapter 3, Part 5, Working with Functions. So last class we studied about different types of arguments, how to pass the arguments from one function to another, and then we studied about different types of functions regarding to their functionality. That means how to pass the function from one function to another, call function to the calling function. That means functions with arguments and return values, functions with values and no return values, function with no arguments, return values, functions with no arguments and no return values. So those things we studied in last class, and today we are going to study about returning multiple values. Actually, in previous session we studied about how to return the values using return function. That means using return function we can return more than one value. In any other programming language like C, C++ or Java programming language, return function is used to return a single value or single variable. And here returning multiple values like in any return function, it may use the value 1, value 2 or value 3 like this, or it may be variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, or expression 1, expression 2, expression 3. Like this also we can implement. So here whenever you're going to define a function, and here function specifies three things or three variables. Here it is given def squared x y z. Here return x into x, comma y into y, z into z. The return statement returning comma separated multiple values or expressions. See, in next line t equal to, actually it is indentation is implemented here, t equal to square root 2 comma 3 comma 4. So what happened is t, it is outside the function definition. So that particular statement is not belongs to the function. T is equal to square root 2 comma 3 comma 4 and print t. Here t that indicates a tuple. And here variable t that receives the returned values is a tuple. Recall that comma separated values are taken as a tuple. Next, go through the next slide, or you can directly unpack the received values of tuple by specifying the same number of variables on the left hand side of the assignment in function call. Example, here it is given. Here definition squared x comma y comma z. So return function x into x, y into y, z into z. So what happened is that particular function, return function that returns the value to the squared function call. Here v1 comma v2 comma v3, these three variables which is used to hold the squared values of 2, 3, 4. That means v1 holds the value of 2, v2 holds the value of 3 and v3 holds the value of 4. Now the received values are in the form of three different variables, not as a tuple. Print v1, v2, v3. So three variables. So output will be square number of 2 is 4, 9, 16 like this. v1, v2, v3. Next, move on to the next slide. And here program that receives two numbers in a function and returns the results of all arithmetic operations. So in a single statement we can return all arithmetic operations. Here definition that indicates function definition, arithmetic calculation x comma y, return x plus y, that is to perform the addition, x comma y, subtraction x star y, multiplication, that is to get the product, x divided by y, that is to perform the division operation. So it will return quotient x percentage y, it returns the modulus operator. And after next one, that is main function, hash main function. So that indicates that particular statement followed by that particular statement that is not belongs to the function and it is outside the function, or we can say it's a caller function or calling function. Num1 equal to int input enter number 1, so that is to read the first number. Num2 that is to read the second number. Add comma subtraction comma multiplication division modulus operator equal to, so in a single statement we'll get the answer to all the arithmetic operations, arithmetic calculation num1 comma num2. So what happens is it performs assignment operation and arithmetic calculation. Whenever you're going to execute this function call, actually arithmetic calculation, actually it's a function num1 comma num2. So what happens is automatically control jumps from this point to here, this point to definition arithmetic calculation x comma y. So here first it returns add, so x plus y, subtraction x minus y, multiplication x star y, division x divided by y, modulus operator mod x percentage y, like this. And after this, so we have to display the values, that values already stored in the variable add, sub, multiplication, division and mod. Here sample run of above program is as shown below. Here enter first number, it is 13, second number it is 7, so sum is equal to 20, like this. So it will display all the information or all the result of arithmetic operations. Next go through the composition. Actually composition that refers to using an expression as a part of larger expression, or using an expression as a part of a statement or as a part of larger statement. In functions context, we can understand the composition as follows. See, here it is given composition. That means it refers a particular expression as a part of larger expression. Say this, an arithmetic expression example, greater inside bracket 4 plus 5 comma 3 plus 4. See this, 4 plus 5 is an expression, is a part of the whole expression. 4 plus 5 is a part of greater 4 plus 5 comma 3 plus 4 expression. Next one, a logical expression example is given, test A or B. Test A or B. So that indicates A or B, test A is a part of A or B. Is a part of A or B. That means that results same. If A is 1, so automatically it will be true. If in between A and B, if any one of these two variables is true, then automatically that particular condition or test condition is true. A function call, actually it is a function composition, int str of 52, and next statement int float 52.5, float 52.5 into 2. Actually string 52, sorry, str52 is of integer type, and integer type of float 52.5. So what happens is here data type conversion takes place, so automatically it will take 52 only, and whenever after the execution of that particular statement float 52.5 into 2, so it will give integer value of the whole thing. 52 into 2, that means 104. 104 it will be returned, otherwise it is 105. So instead of we are using this one int float 52.5, so what happens is automatically it will take only integer part. Next integer str of 52 plus str of 10. See, the whole thing str52 is actually it's a part of str52 plus str10. Here function call as part of larger function call, so that is composition. See, once again definition of composition is given. Composition is general, refers to using an expression as part of a larger expression or a statement as a part of larger statement. Here, next slide is about scope of variables. The scope rules of a language are the rules that decide in which parts or part of the program a particular piece of code or data item would be known and can be accessed therein. To understand scope, we need this one. To understand the scope, we need this one. Actually, it's a part or a particular piece of code. Particular piece of code. Or it's also given that parts of program within which a name is legal and accessible is called as scope of the name. And in easy way we can understand that scope of variable means, for example, we have a variable. In that variable, whether it is available to within the function or it is available throughout the program, if it is available in another function, or that's why we can say that indicates the durability of a variable. When it is going to initialized, when it is going to accessed, when it is going to used by the user. Okay, these are about scope of variables. Now let us understand the scope in terms of Python. In programming term, we can say that scope refers to parts of program within which a name is legal and accessible. Legal and accessible. See this. First one is global scope. Global scope. A name declared in top level segment. A name declared in top level segment. Top level segment means outside the function definition of a program is said to have global scope and is usable inside the whole program. Inside the whole program means in top level segment also we can use such variables, and inside the block or inside the function also we can use such variables. It is called as global variable. Global variable, and that particular scope is called as global scope. Second one, local scope. A name declared in a function body is said to have local scope. If name or variable name declared in a function body or in a block is said to have local scope, it can be used only within this function and the other blocks contained under it. The names of formal arguments also have local scope. Formal arguments, that means arguments used in function or in a block, it is called as formal arguments. Arguments used in the top level program or top level segment, it is called as actual argument. Actual argument. See here it is also once again it is explained here. A global variable is a variable defined in the main program or we can say top level segment. Such variable are said to have global scope. A variable is a variable defined within a function. Such variables are said to have local scope. Next, one example is given here. Here, consider the following Python program. Definition: calculate sum x comma y, z equal to x plus y, return z. Return z. Num1 equal to int input enter first number, num2 is equal to enter second number, sum equal to calculate sum num1 comma num2. So sum we have to display here. See here x comma y, that means variables defined in function header or function definition is called as local scope or local variable, and here variable defined in main program or top level segment is called as global scope or global variable. Such variables are called as global variables. Num1 here, num1, num2 and sum. So three variables defined in top level segment or main program. It is called as global variable. And here x and y and z defined inside the function definition. It is called as local variable, or that scope is called as local scope. Local scope, right? Next, variables defined outside all functions are global variables. That means outside all functions means if it is defined without indentation, then we can say global variable. These variable can be defined even before all the function definitions. Before all the function definitions, we can make use of such variables. Here x equal to 5. Define function of a, b equal to a plus 1, return b. Just go through this one. So what do you mean by a? See, y equal to input, enter number. For example, y equal to 2. So what happens is y equal to 2, z equal to 2 plus function of x. Function of x means 5. So 5 will be loaded to this one a. So what happens is b equal to 5 plus 1, 6. b equal to 5 plus 1, 6. And here y equal to 2. 2 plus 6, z equal to 8. So print z, that means 8. Here variable x is defined before any function definition or before outside the function definition, or we can say without indentation. So it is considered as global variable, or x is having global scope and y is also global, z is also global. So global variables are 3, x, y and z. Local variables are a and b. Okay, these are about global variables. Next, lifetime of a variable. Lifetime of a variable means that value in a variable, it is available, or duration of value available in a variable. So it is called as lifetime of a variable. Here it is given, the lifetime of variable is the time for which a variable lives in memory. Time for which a variable lives in a memory. So it is called as lifetime. So what is the lifetime of global variable? The lifetime of global variable is entire program run. Entire program run. That means whenever the program is executing, so its variable is available. That means global variables are there. So we can access such variables. And what about local variables? So what is the lifetime of local variables? It is functions run, not programs run. So whenever you're going to execute a function or function definition, then only it is available. That means value of such local variables, it is available. So these are about lifetime of global variable and local variables. The time for which a variable or name remains in memory is called lifetime of variable. Next, name resolution or resolving scope of a name. See, actually there is a rule LEGB that indicates how we can access local variable. Is it possible to access global variables, etc.? Just go through this one. For every name reference within a program, when you access a variable from within a program or function, Python follows name resolution rule, and it is also known as LEGB rule. So what do you mean by LEGB? That is for every name reference. Python does the following to resolve it. See here, first one, it checks within its local environment. So first, whether that particular value, if it is available in the local environment. If it has a variable with the same name, in the local environment. That means if it is using in the function block, if it is available in the function block or not. If yes, if it is available in the function block, so what happens? Python uses its value. Python uses its value. If not, if it is not available in the local or we can say block, if it is not available in the block, then it moves to step number 2. So what is there in step number 2? Python now checks the enclosing environment. That is the second one. L is over local environment. E means enclosing environment. LEGB. Example, if whether there is a variable with the same name. Variable with the same name in enclosing environment. If yes, Python uses its value. If the variable is not found in the current environment, Python repeats this step to the higher level enclosing environment. Higher level means top level. If any, then it will continue. If not, then it moves up to the step number 3. So what is there in step number 3? If it is available in the enclosing environment, then it is okay. Then it will continue with that value. If it is not there, then Python checks the global environment. Python checks the global environment. That means whether such variable name is available in the main program or statements without indentation. Whether there is a variable with the same name, if yes, Python uses its value. So Python uses the global variable or global value. If not, then it moves to the step number 4. So what is there in step number 4? Python checks its built-in environment. So Python checks its built-in environment that contains our built-in variables and functions of Python. Built-in variables and functions of Python. If there is a variable with the same name, if yes, Python uses its value. Python uses its value. Okay, these are about name resolution or resolving scope of a name. Say, during built-in environment, if yes, Python uses it. Otherwise, what happens is Python would report the error. That means it is undefined variable or variable is not defined. See this. First, it will check local environment. Local environment. If it is there, if yes, if that variable having the same name with the local environment, Python uses its value. Otherwise, it will move to the second one. That means enclosing environment. If yes, Python uses its value. If not, then it will move to the next higher level. Then what happens is higher level it is global environment. If it is there, then it is okay. Then if it is not there, then Python checks its built-in environment. That means LEGB. If yes, then it's okay. If not, then it will report an error that indicates unknown variable or variable is not defined or unknown variable. See, according to LEGB rule means checking in the order of the local enclosing global built-in environments. It is shown in this figure to resolve a name reference. LEGB rule for name resolution or scope. Next, move on to this one. Case 1. So how to implement LEGB or how to make use of that one. So what happens is definition calculate sum x comma y, s equal to x plus y, x equal to s plus y, and print num1 return yes, and num1 equal to something, num2 equal to something, and print calculate sum num1 comma num2. Here num1 and num2 are global variables, but definition calculate sum x comma y, s equal to x plus y, and print num1. So what happens is it will display num1 value of num1. So what happens is, here statement 2 of function calculate sum. Here num1 has not been created in calculate sum, and still statement 2 is trying to print its value. See what happens is, num1 equal to 2, num2 equal to 4. So what happens is, sum is calculate sum 2 comma 4, x that copies the value of num1, y copies the value of num2, 2 plus 4, s equal to 6, s equal to 6. Print num1, so it will print 2 num1 value, so it is available from the global, or it is global variable. So a function block can access the global variable also, it is available, so it will display the value. Num1 value of num1 is equal to 2 and return yes. So what happens is, so it will return the value to the main function. Print sum is calculate num1 comma num2, so it will display 6, sum is 6. Okay, this is about first case, variable in the global scope but not in local scope. So what happens in the next one? Second case, variable neither in local nor in global. So what happens? What if the function is using a variable which is neither in its local environment nor in its parent environment? So it is simple. Python will return an error. Here it will display an error. Python will report error for variable name in following code as it not defined anywhere. As it is not defined anywhere. So here see this function, definition greet print hello comma name. Not name is not specified here, so only greet function is specifying there. So this would return error as name is neither in local nor in global. So first one is what happens if it is in global, and second one variable neither in local nor in global, and third case some variable name in local as well as in global. So what happens is, if inside a function you assign a value to a name which is already there in a higher level scope, so Python won't use the higher scope variable because it is an assignment statement, and assignment statement creates a variable by default in current environment. See, right side one program is given. Here in global scope, tigers equal to 95. Print tigers state 1. So what happens is, state 1, here control will transfer from this place to here, state 1. State 1 what happens is, under definition tigers equal to 15, print tigers. So global variable is 95, but here it will refer the local variable only. That means local variable having the more priority compared to the global, because we are working with the function. So its value, its local variable is 15, so it will display its value. So priority given to the function itself, because we are working with that function only. Whenever you are using the flow of control, so within the control, whenever control is flowing through this function, so it will display its local value first. So print tiger, so that is 15. So next it will jump to the original location to the function call print tigers 95. So it will display 15 first, next it will display 95. Okay, these are about case 3. Next, calling functions, argument types, scope of variables. Calling functions, argument types, scope of variables. See here in this concept, we have to study about calling functions. Calling function means subprogram or function itself. Argument types, scope of variables. So 3 things we have to study. Whenever you are going to use with the mutable and immutable properties of a passed data objects. So now you know how you can pass values to a function and how a function returns value to its caller. But here it is important to recall following things about variables. See, here first point is, we know that last year we studied about that one. Python's variables are not storage containers. They are not storage containers. If it is a storage container, increment can be applied, but increment will be in another address location. So it's not possible to consider Python variable is a storage container. So Python variables are not storage container, rather than Python variables are like memory references. They refer to the memory address where the value is stored. In case if you are going to store value 5 to a variable a equal to 5, so now it refers the address of 5. It refers the address of 5. That means actually where it is stored. 5 is a value where it is stored in the location. So it will be displayed. Okay, depending upon the mutability and immutability of its data type, a variable behaves differently. Mutable means we can edit or modify the contents. Immutable means it's not possible to modify the contents. That is, if a variable is referring to an immutable type, then any change in its value will also change the memory address. In case a equal to 5, it is in the address 1500. In case if you are going to change a equal to a plus 5, so what happens? 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So its address, it's in some other location, not in 1500. It's not in 1500. Value of 5 is stored in 1500. If it's incremented value, it's not in 1500, it's somewhere else. That is, if a value or if a variable is referring to an immutable type, then any change in its value will also change the memory address in its referring to. But if a variable is referring to a mutable type, then any change in the value of mutable type will not change the memory address of the variable. If you are using mutable type, memory address will be the same. If you are using immutable type, then memory address will be in different location. Memory address will be in different location. These are very important concepts. So they may ask, you can expect this question. So what are the differences between mutable and immutable type while passing data objects? So you can expect this question for 2 marks. It's very important. Okay, see this. Here number references are, here it is given list 1 and 3. Variable 1 equal to 1. List 1 equal to 1, 3. List means it's of mutable type. In its index value 0, it holds 1. Index value 1, it holds 3. So two index values are 0 and 1. 0 and 1. And variable 1 value is 1 itself. So it refers the 1 value. Its address location is 148216. And here same value in list 1 also. So list 1, its value is 1 and 3. Its index value is 0. And variable 1, it uses the same value, that is 1. So here variable 1, that refers the same value, and list 1, here it is 0th index, that specifies the same value, right? And here 1, its index specifies the 3, right? And address of list 1 is 200160. See, here it is given, variable 1 stores the memory reference of integer value 1 and address is 148216. As it is currently storing 1, list 1 has been allocated address 200160, where it can store memory references of its individual items. Example, list 1 of 0, that is 1, list 1 of 1, that is equal to 3, and different address locations. See here also it is given the same thing. Here variable 1 equal to variable 1 minus 1. So decrementation. So what happens is 1 minus 1 equal to 0. So now variable 1 that is pointing to another address location. Just because of it is using mutable type and here also it is using the mutable type. So variable and lists are mutable types, but when in case if you are using tuples, so what happens is it uses same location, so we can't change the value. Okay, these are about today's section. So today we studied about passing the values from one function to another function, and we studied about scope of variables, global scope, local scope, and all those things. Very important concept that we studied today. And I'm going to stop this session. We'll see you in next session.